Nigeria's anti-drug agency says it's arrested Abba Kyari, a highly decorated police officer. Mr. Kyari, who was already suspended for allegedly helping the self-avowed fraudster Hushpuppi launder his money, is now accused in a cocaine plot.
Joining us to discuss the issues around the suspension and the subsequent arrest of Abba Kyari is a security expert, Kabiru Adamu. Thanks so much for joining us on Newsday. I'd like you, first of all, to react, to this arrest and allegations of drug trafficking against Abba Kyari, just as the FBI is seeking for him to be extradited to the United States.
Thank you, Tomitokwe, and nice to be here with you again. Like most Nigerians, the revelations are shocking to me. If you've watched Breaking Bad, honestly, this for me is a replication of the Nigerian version of Breaking Bad. I have associated, professionally with Abba Kyari, and I found him to be an outstanding officer. And so the revelations, especially the sting operation, which for me appears to be a well played out operation, even though this is something that a competent court of jurisdiction or perhaps an investigative panel would verify. But from what I have seen and what I've read, a lot has come out to tell me that the person we associated with as a professional perhaps had a side of him that was well hidden, and that, and I must say this, that the system for which he belonged and worked with was also part of whatever cesspool that we're seeing at the moment. So many questions have come up in my mind. Number one, this accusation from the FBI that started all of this came out in July. And we were told by the Office of the Inspector General of Police that this DCP has been suspended. But clearly, from the revelations that started coming out from yesterday, that suspension didn't happen. It appeared he was still part of the system. It appears he was still able to work, and more importantly, to influence the activities that were happening both within the police and with another sister organization, which is the NDLEA. So how could that have happened? And then I took myself back to a few days ago, last week, when the Police Service Commission rejected the report submitted to it by the Office of the Inspector General of Police and gave a 2-week ultimatum to the Office of the Inspector General to conclude on its investigation, clearly telling us that, there was an attempt, perhaps, either to cover up because the report did not meet certain expectations of the Police Service Commission. So all of these things are things that came to my head yesterday when I read all of that. The bigger picture for me, I run a consulting firm on risk management, and I relate with the entire world in terms of how they see Nigeria and the inability of our current systems to address corruption within the security sector. That for me is the greatest misgivings of all of this development. Everything we have done to enhance transparency, to enhance our anti-corruption credentials within the security sector, unfortunately, is being destroyed by our inability to properly manage this embarrassment that arose in July 2021 and that is still living with us at the moment.
Truly an embarrassment. And speaking of a cover-up, we're wondering about what might happen to the investigation by the FBI about Abba Kyari, seeing that he is now going to be facing charges in Nigeria. What are the implications of extradition or even the investigation of the FBI?
Okay, Hawa, I have a slightly probably controversial view, in this particular aspect. Having traveled around the world and frankly worked in several countries of the world, I'm not aware that at any point in our history, the United States government has ever extradited any of its officials to Nigeria. And so I am of the view that perhaps as a sovereign country, where we relate with any country on the platform of equality, that if that country does not respect us on that platform, then we should also reciprocate in kind. Now, that is not in any way jettisoning the demand for action on an issue that has become apparent. What I'm trying to say is, yes, we do have an extradition agreement, but then that extradition agreement should be reciprocal, where there have been instances in the past. And I can tell you, unfortunately, this is a public platform, so I can't give the details, but I am aware that there were certain instances where US government officials did worse atrocities than what Abba is being accused of. And at no point in time did we either request for their extradition or was that request granted. So to that extent, I am of the opinion that we should use our local laws, internal laws, to try this officer that has been found wanting, and perhaps once we convince the U.S. authorities that we have, concluded in a transparent manner these investigations and share with them the outcome of this investigation, and that could include, trying him and then sending him to court, that the need for that extradition would no longer be necessary. Now, the basis for this position that I hold is that at the point he did everything he did, he was an agent of the state. Now, as an agent of the state, there are state secrets that he's privy to that I think, in my honest opinion, are best kept in Nigeria than exposed to another country, irrespective of what our relationship is with that country.
All right, I want to say many thanks to you, Kabiru, for actually joining us here on Newsday today. We wish Abba Kyari all the best. He needs it.